Hi everybody, the purpose of this video is to show you some of the advanced features in Schoology. So you can see I've got a link to a Google drawing that students are going to be using for a graphic organizer. I've got an image, I've got a rubric, and when I go into the editing view, you're going to see that I've already assigned the grading category and created the rubric in here. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see some advanced features. By default, I typically turn off the comments because one thing I've discovered is that students think that they're submitting an assignment if they comment below. But really, we want the assignments to be stored in the drop box, which is the third column. So I typically turn that off on my assignments. You may find differently in your courses. But let's start over here to the left of the advanced features, and I'll kind of go through each one. So individually assign, you'll see this pop up not only in assignments but also in discussions and other places inside Schoology. If I click this, I have the option to assign to specific students or to grading groups that you have previously created. So, for example, that could be a specific reading group that you're using for RTI. You want to assign them something, and you want a different group to do something else. That's perfectly fine. You can type right here where it says assign, and I have my demo account, which I created using my daughter, and I've got her enrolled in this course. So when I click here, I can individually assign this right to her. I also have the option right here to add learning objectives. Now the trick with this one is you have to do the learning objectives before you create the rubric or as you're creating the rubric, because since I've already created a rubric, I can't add them to a rubric that I previously created. So if you want to align standards but also add competencies that you create on your rubric, start with the learning objectives first, and you'll have the ability to align all different standards, Common Core, the next generation science standards, we've got the cognitive growth targets in there, all that good stuff. So that little bullseye does that. So the next one over is this lock feature, which is really cool because let's say, for example, you wanted to have an assignment for your students and it was due on a certain day, but you didn't want it to go away. You wanted students to be able to access the resources again later. By default, an assignment is unlocked. You can lock it on a certain date, or you can say, I'm locking it now. I'm not taking any more revisions or submissions. So if I do lock on, I can pick a date that is a little bit further in advance. So let's say I pick April 17th. I want this by Friday. And then I can pick the time. I also have the ability to turn off submissions. So this would be maybe used if you wanted to have an assignment that was more face-to-face, that you weren't going to be having students submit anything digitally to you. You wanted to have like a paper copy, but you still wanted to be able to keep track of it in the Schoology gradebook. You would disable submissions and see how that goes away when I click that. I really want it enabled because I did want it to be locked on that certain date. So if you turn that off, then that allows you to still record the grade, but not actually collect anything digitally from the students. This green circle makes it visible to students. Once you have students turning in work and you've graded it, you can check out the grade statistics, so you can enable that and turn that off, which is a really cool feature. And then comments. Like I said, I like to turn the comments off by default. You may find a reason not to do that, but at least when you're getting started with your students, you want them to know that when they're submitting an assignment, they're going to hit the submit button in the right column rather than just adding a comment. So this is a quick overview of some of the advanced features. I'm sure you'll find ones that you enjoy using with your students, but go ahead and test them out on the assignment on an assignment that you've created and see which ones will work best for you and your classroom. Enjoy!